Good morning, everyone. This is Praveen from Unvired, and welcome to this brand new web session from Unvired. In today's demonstration, we're going to be looking at how the Unvired suite of mobile applications is enabling technicians to access their work-related information comprehensively and accurately, enabling rich gains in their productivity. We will also look at how the inventory apps are enabling efficient management of inventory, resulting in better planning and cost savings for companies. Then we'll also get a sneak preview of the digital form solution, which is helping companies eliminate the use of paper, resulting in more effective reporting, reducing errors in data entry, and optimizing storage. So we'll also look at safe work permits, which is allowing certain basic processes in SAP Plant Maintenance to be embellished with company-specific processes. So before we get deep into the conversation, some housekeeping questions out here. So if you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to use the question answers panel to post your questions, and I will pick it up at the end of the session. And please also be informed that Unvired is offering a free POC of the Unvired EAM app. And we also have special discounts on pricing for all our customers. So brief agenda. So we'll have a live demonstration. We'll discuss some case studies. And finally, of course, we'll have the questions answer session. So just a brief introduction about Unvired. Unvired is a Houston headquartered company, but we have a presence the world over, as you can see from the map out here. So we have our research and development in India. And so customers in US, Europe, Africa, Asia Pac, we have our presence all over the world. Some of the partnerships that we have and nurture. So we've been recognized consistently over the years. And we've been recently featured in the 455 research report with the capabilities of our turbo apps being recognized as making impact for customer scenarios. Some of the customers that we have across industry verticals, so we're not focused on one specific industry. So we have a presence across oil and gas, chemicals, manufacturing, utilities, and some of the customers across these industry verticals are for your reference as well. So what are the key differentiators that we bring to the table compared to our competitors? So we have not just an application that enables you to mobilize plant maintenance processes, but we have an integration with a suite of mobile applications that helps you enhance your plant maintenance processes, which SAP offers by default. All our customers are happy reference customers. We are very competitive when it comes to pricing. So all our implementations can be done remotely. We don't really have to be, at the customer site. Our solutions are offered both on-premise and cloud. And so we are also very flexible and responsive when it comes to dealing with our customers. So why mobile? So as we have seen in the last 2 years, companies which did not go digital, which did not go mobile, got left behind in the race. So people who continue to do business on paper and Excel sheets, they were laggards in the race in the last couple of years. So the future is mobility. If you want to make efficient utilization of your workforce, enable them to have access to the information that they need when they do their jobs, the only way to do that is by being mobile. Some of the statistics and numbers which strengthen the case of why mobility is really required. So mobility increases in plant uptime, improves digital operations by eliminating paper, increased wrench time when it comes to auditing and safety. So we have more compliance. The quality of data that we capture is a lot better, resulting in better analytics. And of course, the overall cost over a period of time will be much lesser than if you were to use a paper-based or a manual process. So what are the suite of apps that we have from Unvired. So we have the operator rounds and inspections, which is an application that allows KPIs for equipment to be captured in the field. We have the work order solution, which enables technicians to get access to their job descriptions in the field. We have digital forms, which is a solution which enables you to digitize all paper-based processes in your company into its digital representation. Safety work permits, inventory management, wherein you can post your goods issues, goods receipts, check stock, do a physical inventory count. So all of those activities can be done using the inventory management app. And of course, you can also do your planning and scheduling of all the jobs in the field. So let's focus our attention to the Unvired mobile EAM. So this solution of ours is certified for integration with SAP. So this solution works both with SAP ECC as well as S/4HANA. The solution can be deployed on-premise or cloud, or we can choose a hybrid model. The application is available on iOS, Android, and Windows devices. We can do the integration. We have peripheral device integrations because some of our customers would like to use RFID readers, maybe barcode scanners, and maybe they also like to print labels using mobile barcode printers. So we have all of that available. The solution is offline capable. Even if you do not have connectivity, you can always continue to work with the application. And whenever you have connectivity, you can always sync it back with the SAP systems. Attachments, we can make documents available for you for offline usage. It doesn't matter which DMS that you use, SharePoint, OpenText, Documentum, or SAP. You have access to all of those documents on your mobile device. We also allow the integration with Google Maps or S3. So whatever your choice of maps functionality is. So let's look at some of the features of the solution itself. So we have the operator rounds. So operator rounds, basically what it allows you to do is piggyback on the SAP functionality to define measuring points for an equipment and define a structure to capture these measurements in the field. So the users can walk around in the plant, define a route which says that the certain equipment have to be visited in a certain path. And then you can take these readings. And when you take these readings, you can do validations for range. You can do validations if it's a code group. You can check for those values, and all of those things can be done. And to enforce accountability, you can ensure that unlocking of the inspection can happen using an RFID tag or from the GPS location of the user. So that way users are not cheating by sitting at their desks while taking readings of all these KPIs in the field. The work orders is nothing but a description of the job or maintenance task that needs to be performed by a technician in the field. Users will have access to all their jobs. The jobs can either be pushed to the technicians, or the users can manually download them from the SAP systems. The users can get access to all the maintenance manuals, service manuals, spare parts information, everything offline usage for offline use. The users can do a material confirmation, they can do time confirmation, and all of those good things that you can do in SAP and can also be done on your mobile device as well. Inventory management, like I was mentioning, stock overviews, storage location movements of materials, then being able to issue materials against an order, ad hoc issue of materials, return of materials, creating purchase acquisitions when the inventory levels start dipping. So all of these basic warehouse operations is something which you can easily do from the Unvired inventory application. So this application, like I said, can use both handheld devices if you want to use it, or you can also use the camera. The basic camera can also be used to scan your barcodes and QR codes. But if you also have handheld devices, which makes operations within the warehouse a lot more efficient, we also do a lot of peripheral device integration for the inventory processes as well. So the next thing is the safe work permit applications. A lot of companies, they have very stringent processes that they follow, wherein if a job is to be carried out in a hazardous environment, you would first need to get a permit from the operators, ensuring that the area is free for maintenance activities to be carried out. So based on the kind of work, it could be a hot work or a cold work. So you may have one or more forms that have to be filled, and you may have a complete workflow which goes along with the creation of these permits, their approvals, and their final issue. And each company and each industry has its own specific processes. And what the Unwired suite of apps allows you to do is define your custom flow, wherein you can integrate your digital permitting process with the work order management. And you can have a customized, tailored solution to meet your company's specific processes. TurboForms. TurboForms is an application, is a platform by itself, which exists independently of the Unwired EAM application. So the TurboForms can be used to digitize any paper-based processes that you may have in your company. So it can be in finance, it can be in HR, it can be in plant maintenance, sales and distribution, doesn't matter. So all of those processes can be completely automated. So you don't really have to have an SAP system for this to work with. So you can just work with the TurboForms solution as an independent digital digital forms solution by itself. But when it comes to the SAP EAM, the TurboForms integrates very well with the Unwired mobile EAM solution, wherein you can define all these customized forms, be it safety work permits or inspections, checklists, risk assessments, or observations. And you can have all of these forms filled in the context of the work orders or notifications that you would use the SAP EAM application for. And these forms are very rich in that it is not just simple text fields. You can have text fields which are embellished with a lot of validations. You can have information pre-populated from the context that you're using the forms in. You can bring contextual information like equipment data, object types, function locations for use as value helps or pop-ups within the forms. And you can also take pictures and embed them into the forms itself. And these forms are not, static in nature. They're very dynamic. They can grow to 1, 2, 3 pages, and you can expand and contract them as need be. So we'll also look at the TurboForm solution a little more in detail. So what I was talking about is the integration of the forms application with the work orders solution. So this basically tries to drive from the point that the Unwired EAM can work as an independent application which interfaces with SAP. The TurboForm solution also can exist independently and interface with ECC, but they all three also can work together and give that complete process flow which is required within your enterprises. So some of the customer case studies before we dive into the demo. We have Well Networks, which is a utilities company in New Zealand. They use our applications, and they have one of the things in New Zealand is the connectivity is really bad, and then people are on the job for weeks and sometimes even a month without access to the SAP servers. They will be processing close to 5,000 equipment or capturing about 10,000 measuring points, all offline. And this is a very interesting case study where all of that inspections happens over on Google Maps in the offline mode. And so the device of choice is the Windows tablet form factor. Another interesting use case is, Carmos. It's a mining company which has operations, predominantly in the US and Europe. So we have deployed this application in 8 different languages for the users across the globe. So they use, custom flows, which uses the best of the SAP processes, Unwired EAM, and our digital forms, offering. And finally, we have New Star Energy, which is another oil and gas company in San Antonio, Texas. We have done peripheral device integration, wherein we have used RFID scanners to read tags, unlocking their work orders for users to actually work on them. Windows ruggedized mobile devices is what we used for completely offline mode of operation. And so digital forms integrated with open text system is something which is another interesting highlight of this use case. And the last one, precision drilling. It's another oil and gas company in US and Canada operations. So they have one interesting use case out here is they have some homegrown solutions. These homegrown solutions were integrated with the SAP processes, and multiple solutions were integrated to create a mashup scenario, wherein users, instead of using multiple applications, they use just one application, which is the Unvired EAM, to interface with all those various solutions in the backend. This implementation was on S/4HANA, and the devices that we used here was iPhones, iPads, and Windows tablets. So having looked at that brief introduction, let's look at what the application really is all about, and let's dive straight into the demonstration. So what you're seeing on my screen right now is the Android tablet, and I'm going to launch the Unwired EAM mobile application. So the Unwired EAM, like I said, is a role-based application which gives you access to functionality in SAP Plant Maintenance. So you could have notifications processing. You could create notifications to report issues on equipment or requests for maintenance. You could have access to all the jobs that a technician is executing in the field. The complete list of technical objects and function locations of the user in the field based on the organizational context, digital forms, and inspections. So let's start with technical objects. So technical objects is nothing but the list of function locations and equipment that the user has access to. Companies have complex function location structures which could span multiple levels, 10 levels deep, or maybe 5 levels or 10 levels. It can be as you have structured it. So users may not be interested in all levels and all parts in the tree. They might be interested only in a substructure. So what the application allows you to do is associate substructures in that complex structure, and then only bring that portion to the user's device for offline use. So you have a list of function locations, and you also have a toggle on top, which will take you to a list of equipment. The equipment, if in case you're using barcodes to identify equipment, you can always use the camera feature here. And that will bring up a barcode scanner, which you could just use to scan a barcode and identify an equipment. Or you could just simply use the search bar at the bottom to filter for equipment in the field. So we had about 20 plus equipment, got filtered to about 10. So you can do that. And as far as the equipment is concerned, if you want to look at the details of an equipment, you just have to select an equipment from the list. You would get information, general information about the equipment, the manufacturer details, the locations, responsibilities. If the equipment has sub-items, you can see those sub-item structures. If you have any historical data that you would like to see, historical maintenance, like what notifications were created, what notifications were created, and what orders were executed on this particular equipment. You can have access to all of that. Also, what you can do is you can have access to all the attachments. So this equipment does not have any. Let's pick another one. So if I click on the attachment button at the bottom of the screen, it gives me access to all the documents. It could be the cross section of the pump, or it could be a PDF which contains the manual, operation manual, installation manual. So users can browse through all of that information, and all of this is available offline to the user. What the user can also do is get the hierarchical view of this equipment. So there is a button here which provides a hierarchical view. So clicking on it will bring up the equipment. And when I expand it, you can see the construction of this equipment, or the bill of material. You have all the spare parts which are used to maintain this equipment. And then if I want to go a few levels higher in the hierarchy, I can always do that. So I have the parent equipment, the location where this is installed. And if I want to go many levels higher, I can always keep navigating up. And then if I want to browse any substructure, I can do that. And then get into the details of other equipment in the hierarchy as well. So it's very simple. And also from the equipment context, what you can do is from the menu, you can create notifications and orders for the equipment. So let's say I create a notification. I observe problem with this equipment, and I want to create a notification for this. I say faulty pipes. Faulty pipes need repair, and I say notification maintenance request. So when I say maintenance request, there are certain fields which I have to fill. But then if I say it's a malfunction or it's a breakdown, then maybe I have certain more fields that I may have to fill. So we try to capture as little information as required from the user so that we don't overwhelm them. And we try to default as much information like the context of the function locations and equipment so that it's easier for the user to report notifications in the field. So once we've done that, we can just say, okay, and then come to the documents wherein I can, capture pictures from a camera. Say, okay. And then I can annotate these pictures. Add text to it. And then, save it against the order. So once I've done that, I can go back to my equipment, the context where I started this notification creation process from, and then I can continue to browse for other details on this particular equipment. Similarly, you can also look at all the details of the function location. It's very similar in nature to the equipment itself. So once the notification is created, that notification is available for reference in the notification style. So this notification that we created is something which is visible to the user with a visual cue and a new placeholder which says that this notification has not yet been created in SAP and is waiting for the user to actually submit this. The user can either submit this single notification from the notification list screen, or the user can also do it from the home screen, wherein after all the work has been completed, maybe the user creates 10 notifications, processes 2-3 orders, and then he wants to synchronize all of his changes to the backend in one shot. There is this sync button at the home screen. Or if the user wants to do it per equipment or per notification, he can always come here and then hit the submit button. Submissions are asynchronous in nature. So the users can continue to work on other parts of the application while the notification gets submitted to SAP. Here you can see that it's orange in color, which means it has been submitted, and the users can go to the other parts of the application to do their the job. Let's quickly look at inspections. Inspections, like I was mentioning to you, is the ability to capture KPIs for equipment. So these inspections piggyback on the SAP work order. So SAP work order contains an object list with a list of all the equipment that have to be inspected. What you see here in this list is a list of all the equipment on the object list. And these equipment have 3 measuring points each, which is why it says 0 of 3. I can get into the equipment itself, and then it shows me the 3 KPIs or the measuring points that need to be captured. So the ranges are available for the user's reference. So if I enter something which is out of range and then try to save it, it says not in range, please correct it, or give a valid reason to say why it is out of range. So I can hit that and say winter, which is why it's pretty cold out here. And then it allows me to take that measurement. If I want to look at the historical readings, I can always hit that clock, and then it shows me all the previous readings, what measurements, what's the comment for why it was out of range. Out of that information is easily available to the next user. So I'm just going to make some more entries out here. So this is a measuring point of type counter. So counters can be count up or count down. And then you can also have qualitative measuring points wherein you're capturing a code instead of a numeric value. So I'm just going to say it's broken, and then just one of the allowed values, and then I'm going to save. So as you notice, we had 2 equipment in the list to start with. Now there's just 1. I can see the equipment which was completed by clicking this checkbox on top. It shows me completed equipment, readings 3 of 3, and the other one is 0 of 3. I can go to the next one and enter those values: 90, save, operating hours 105, save, temperature 50. Done. So once I've done that, so both these have been completed, and if I uncheck that, there will be no more entries in this list. Imagine a utility scenario wherein you have thousands of equipment and you're taking a certain path, and as and when you keep completing those readings, the equipment keep disappearing from the list, and the next equipment that needs to be measured keeps bubbling to the top, which makes it very efficient for the users to conduct inspections in the field. So once the user has completed all the measurements, the users can complete this flag, which is basically nothing but techoing a work order. I say techo, and I come back, and then I can submit this, and this again gets queued to the SAP system and then gets submitted. So the last transaction maybe that we'll probably have a look at is the work orders. So the work orders allows you to access your job that has been assigned to a technician. The work order contains a description. The associated notification is available for you to navigate technical objects and all the other details. You can do status management of work orders. You can say it's in process. You can say started. You can set those values. Operations, you have 2 operations. You can confirm time against operations by using this clock feature. You say, I'm going to start working on operation number 10, wherein a clock starts recording time. And then if you're taking a break, you can do a pause. And then if you want to continue, you can start the play again. And then once you're done working on that particular job, you can do a stop, which will record time against that particular operation. What you can also do for these operations is material confirmations. So material confirmation, you can do, BOM. You can say that I would like to pick spare parts from the BOM, or I can say I would like to use, freestyle searching, wherein I can choose from the list of all the available materials, to add to this particular work order. And once I've added this material as a planner, I can also do a material issue by clicking on the shopping cart, wherein I can say that of the required 1 quantity, I want to use the 1 quantity, and I can say the posting quantity now is 1, right? So that's how I can do material confirmations. The most interesting part of the work order process is processes integrated into your normal work order execution in SAP. So what I'm going to show you here is the use of work permits. Here we have a work permit as one of the forms available. I can instantiate that as a part of this work order, get into it. So this work order gives me the ability to mark all the hazards which may be encountered in the field for the technician. There are certain fields which are mandatory. What is important here to understand is any paper-based form can be digitally represented with company colors, logos, and any layout that you may want to use. And when I save this, you can have these validations. Main power disconnect plant. I'm just going to enter some value here. Shift, day, night, and afternoon. If I want to use embed pictures inside the form, I can do that. So that becomes a part of the form. And what I can also do is I can have conditional logic in the form. Can the equipment be de-energized? If I say no, then a new field comes up which asks me a question why it cannot be de-energized, right? So I can say why. And then I can have multiple other questions that can be answered, and more validations. And I can have digital signatures which I can capture of people who are going to be working in the field. And once all of this is done, I can save this and then have this submitted against the work order itself. Similar to this work permit, I can have many other processes which could be digitized. And the forms can be very large and complex in nature. So say, for example, the equipment inspection. If you look at this particular form, you would have many different sections. It's a very large form. And what is also important for you to see is we are defaulting some of the values here, the order number, the asset, the object types, and any other contextual information that you could have can be pre-filled to these forms, which saves the user a lot of effort from entering all that information. So, and then these forms are pretty large. And like I said, you can have multiple sections. And if multiple people are collaborating on a single form, you can have various people working on each section. And finally, when all the data is filled in, it can be submitted to the SAP system. Now, what I'll do is I'll just submit this work order here. This work order behaves similar to the notification in that when I submit this, it gets queued for submission to SAP. And whenever there is a connectivity, it will get synchronized with the SAP system. So I will quickly now switch to my desktop, where I would just like to show you, some of the work that we did on the mobile device and how it manifests in the SAP system itself. We created a notification. And this notification that we created, 40 pipes needs repair, and we took a picture. So the attachment list here, screen. So that information is easily available for you to use with SAP. This document could have been stored in any other DMS. And so that link can be embedded into this notification. And you could cross-reference it from here. Similarly, the work orders. So we just submitted a work order. It was 0235. And so this work order, we submitted some forms. So let's look at that list of forms that we just attached. So we submitted two forms, one work permit and one equipment inspection. So this was on the 1st of Feb. So I'm just going to open the work permit out here. And you can see that this work permit can now be accessed from the context of the order in SAP. So all the fields were filled, the pictures are embedded within the form for easy access, and all the other fields along with my digital signature are all available in the SAP's context. So that's how simple it is to bring all the different parts together into the SAP system. So quick overview of the digital forms portal. So this portal is what is used to manage your forms that you build and associate with your SAP system. With the EAM process. So I'm just going to quickly show you the forms that we used in this demo. So we have various categories that you can manage your forms in. One of the categories that we created was maintenance, and within this maintenance category, we created a form called the work permit. So this work permit, you have a very intuitive drag and drop builder. You can use let's say, for example, if you have another activity that needs to be carried out. So you just come here and then say file replacement. I'm going to say so I'll just say painting, and then I can quickly review it out here. Painting, I can just save this and then it gets added to this list. Let's say the shifts, I need to introduce a new shift or maybe remove a shift. So I come out here and say, okay, I only have a day shift and a night shift. I don't need an afternoon shift. I just remove that entry from this combo. I can quickly preview it out here. And if I'm happy with the changes, I can save it. And then I can, publish this form. I have a rich set of controls here. As you can see, text fields, areas, numeric passwords, some advanced controls like address, date, and time. So if I say I want to, capture the date and time of this work permit, I can just drag and drop this here, and then I can say date and time. I can change the label if I want to. I can just say date, and I'm happy with that. I just save it. And once this is done, I can save this particular form, quickly preview it. I can do a test, make sure everything works fine. Shift, okay, just day and night. I have this new field out here. And then date, I can choose this. Time, I can make it 1 p.m. and then I'm fine. So once I have previewed my form and I find it to be working fine, I can easily publish this. So publish this, I can say less shifts, which means less work for the users. I publish this form and I'm done. So now this form that I've published, version 10, will be now available on my mobile device, which I can, then any new forms that will be created of this type will then be with this layout that I just published. So that's how simple it is. So I have a few minutes left. I would like to, pause at this point in time and then maybe open the floor for a few questions.
So let me, I guess, turn my video on so people can put a face to our names. So my name is Alok Pant. I'm the CEO of Unvired based in Houston, Texas. So we want to open up for questions, but just to summarize today, what Praveen discussed was our mobile work orders app, our inventory management app for your managing spare parts. We discussed work permits, right? And then digital forms that can be more than work permits. It could be risk assessment form, and it can be a job safety analysis. And before people start dropping off, I also want to remind that we are offering everybody today a free proof of concept and also special discounted pricing. So with that, you can also send your questions on chat, or Sushil, if you can open up the phone lines, let's have some questions. I am seeing one question that has come up, and which is a very common question about the pricing. So our pricing is, user-based pricing, and it is in both. You can buy it as a subscription SaaS model per user per month, or you can also buy on a perpetual basis where you make a one-time payment and annual support on that. So very, very flexible depending on whatever pricing model works for you. Okay, so the other question I have here is, how long do these implementations take? So typically for what we find is the implementation can go anywhere between 2 and 4 months, depending on your exact requirements, because we find every customer has their own custom requirements and processes they want to kind of mobilize or digitize. And it also depends on the scope. Is it only work orders? Does it include work permits? So Praveen, would you agree 2 and 4 months is a good estimate?
Yeah, yes, Alok, 2 and 4 months for simple to complex processes. That's exactly how much time it would take. Yes.
Okay. And then a question just came up from one of our audience members. Let me read it. Do you have any maintenance planning application? Yes, we do have a planning and scheduling application. And I will follow up with you and we can certainly schedule a conversation around maintenance planning applications. So I'll get back to you. Okay. And I guess a couple of other things which generally people like to discuss is the deployment model, which we find. So we can deploy both on cloud and on premise, depending on your preferences. And then the other common question is, I have S/4HANA. Do you integrate with S/4HANA? Yes. So our mobile applications integrate with both SAP ECC and S/4HANA. In fact, we have a couple of customers where we have migrated the mobile app from ECC to S/4HANA. So yeah, that is not a problem. Praveen, do you want to add any, maybe, so we have a couple of minutes, any other thing you want to mention?
Yes, Alok, yeah. So like I was mentioning, what you saw on the application today was, all the functionalities that you have in SAP Plant Maintenance. So based on the other processes that you would like to bring into the same view, so you could have a tile which does purchasing, you could have another tile which does your warehouse, processes. So instead of deploying multiple applications for the users on their mobile devices, so the single EAM application can be used as a common window to bring in all those processes and making it intuitive for the users to use all those different processes in the field. Not just SAP processes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Not just SAP processes. Like I said, if you also have some homegrown solutions that you use, which uses a separate web application or another legacy application, we can bring those processes also and then provide a window or a tile within the EAM application to build those powerful mashed up scenarios as well. So that's something which we also specialize in.
And these apps work across platforms, Android, iOS, Windows, offline. And also wanted to let you know that 3 of our customers actually are speaking at the ASUG SAP EAM event in Dallas on March 30th and 31st. Kaneka, New Star Energy, and Carmuse. So as we said, we have reference customers, and we'll send you the link to that conference website, because I think you will be able to see a lot of presentations. There are a lot of, there's more than one partner or vendor you can consider. we want you to, we want to help you to make the right decision, get the best partner for you. So we'll send you information on the conference where we have our customers speaking. I think that's pretty much it. We are almost at the, we have a couple of minutes, but I don't see any more questions. We will follow up with you. We'll send you guys a link to the recording and a copy of these slides and some more information about the conference and other information. So with that, we would like to thank all of the attendees today and looking forward to continuing our conversation. Thank you once again. Goodbye.